This isn't even their final form.
And we won't see that probably ever again.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's awesome to see.
No matter what, we're gonna beat it.
Yeah, okay. I see that.
It's certainly interesting.
Wait, what now?
Oh,
my
Eagle.
God. Well then.
Oh my god.
They came in the right order, too.
Good. 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 Good.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what now? Oh, yeah. What's up, THL? How's everybody doing tonight? And welcome to another awesome episode of Tavern Talk. On tap tonight, we have Eternal Disappointment. So our house rules for the evening are as follows. When it feels anything, man, right now it's feeling very Tito's, man. Whenever the power rankings we're doing our thing there, I don't even know what the fuck we're going to do with that tonight because something cool happened with it. We'll talk about that when we get there. If you were in Discord prior to this show happening, you already know what rule number 3 is about. And whenever we get to that playoff talk, because it's getting to be that time. So, here we go, THL. I'm just fucking with you all. For those who don't know, Lemur is my favorite little punching bag, and he's here tonight saying my left, your right. Lemur, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm dying inside currently, just a little bit. That intro was a little bit more than I expected, but it's fine. It's fine.
I told you. Oh, fuck me. Please talk, because I can't.
I was just gonna say, like, I only agreed to do this show so I'd have an hour and a half at least of no Lemur, and then you brought him onto the show, so I'm fucking pissed.
Oh, man. You know, we've had Lemur on Cast and Salty Saturday. He's on that other cuck of a show after the salt settles. And despite the fact that I told him hell would freeze over or that Slim should play Yogg before he came on this show, here he is. So well, I mean, I guess that was kind of one of the determining factors, right?
Yep.
So we do have Lemur with us here tonight, guys. You know, finally somebody from the Green Division on here to shit on. Although I'm pretty sure we probably had a Green Division person here before, but they're so forgettable. And I don't remember if we did or not. So
We didn't.
we didn't. All right. Moving on to things that are THL related and life in general. Week 5 happened. Shit happened. God damn, I can't believe fucking life is what it is right now. Whew. So let's get into it. Let's talk about our upsets of the week after seeing week 5 play out. Mage, you and I agreed on this, and because Lemur's an absolute cuck, he decided that he was going to throw his vote in here as well. I think we're all pretty shocked about Netherstorm over Aeon. What surprised you so much?
Well, Netherstorm hasn't been very good. Aeon's been very good. And it didn't really matter because Netherstorm beat the shit out of them.
Yep.
I think they won 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it was a pretty big one as far as points totals go. Lemur, what stood out to you that you want to agree with Mage and I on this one?
I think, like, the big thing about this matchup in general, like Mage said, Aeon is doing fantastic this season and has been doing very, very strong, unlike what they did last season. And Netherstorm's kind of faltered a little bit, having a lot of trouble, especially with Cheesy securing wins. But with Cheesy getting the 3-0 this week, I think that kind of set them up to do great, and they showed that by just winning 4 out of the 5 matches this week.
Yeah, there was a couple of really shocking ones as you look through this, and we'll get into our shocks of the week in a minute here. But one that I didn't put into the list, but I was considering, is Crovan 3-1 over Gallon. Gallon has been doing some helping with the league and coming into their own as a personality amongst the community. And Crovan has kind of silently throughout his THL career having matches like this where he 3-1's a big name, and kind of does the Crovan thing. He's kind of like an Adidas type player to me, where we don't talk about him often, but when they do beat somebody big, it's really not that big of a shock because it's kind of something they do behind the scenes all the time. So big ups to Netherstorm for stepping up this week to get a much needed result. But 19-6 overall, good job Netherstorm. Tip of the hat to my boy Twiz. Gemini holding it down over there for 5 seeds everywhere. Gemini. You could get 1 point. 1 point this week would have been good.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Gosh, Jack.
Sorry. It's like I sat here. Listen, before there was a bandwagon for Gemini, I was on Team Gemini. Gemini, don't make me Noob Central you. All right? Ask Nate how quickly I jumped off that shit. No, Gemini is one of my favorites. That's why I give her shit. Moving on down the road to our shockers of this week, because we all wanted to talk about the same fucking upset. Mange, why don't we segue straight into you?
Sure. Well, we're talking about Gemini. So I was shocked that she lost to Missing Shoelaces, and I was shocked that it was this week. Gemini is struggling this season, but last season she was so good, like MVP runner-up. So yeah, no, that was really surprising to see, because I feel like Missing Shoelaces is the weakest, or like the weak link of Netherstorm. I'm sorry, of Aeon. And so you'd think that Gemini would have that advantage, and it just didn't happen this week.
Yeah, Gemini has become one of those 5 seed players that you just kind of expect big things from. I was actually wondering if this would be the season for her to kind of do the Jesus seed jump to 4 seed. And not saying that won't happen in the near future, but losing to a player like Misty Shoelace definitely surprising to say the least. Lemur, I like what you did. Our guests have done some interesting things with their shockers the past couple weeks. Anarchist picked a whole division situation last time he was on, and you did something cool here. Tell us about your shockers and why they shocked you.
Well, okay, I thought the most shocking moment in THL this week, like this last week, week 5, was the DQs that happened in the green division, specifically the DQs of Danger Zone. They had 2 players DQ this week. They had both Jingbutta DQ, which I cannot recall seeing in the entirety of my THL career. And they had, I believe it was Grim DQ as well. It was either Grim or Gideon Echo DQ'd. And that in itself is terrible for a team like Danger Zone that was very much in the playoff contention, and then with the 2 DQs just kind of dropped out of it, along with having a rather poor week other than the DQs. But with the 2 DQs, it was just staggering, especially because, like I said, they were in second in green. They were in the playoff race. And because of the week that Avatar had this week, and because of those 2 DQs that just randomly happened out of nowhere, of 2 players that don't generally DQ, it just kind of shifted how you have to look at the green division now, and how you have to look at that team now going forward. Whereas, like, if you have a team that just performs poorly one week, you're like, okay, they just performs not as well as usual, or they performed like they generally do, depending on what the team is. But when you have DQs added into the mix, you don't know how to feel about that, and you don't know how that's going to affect them moving forward or affect the rest of the division as a whole. Because like I said, Avatar jumped into that second playoff spot, and that might not have happened if Danger Zone didn't get those 2 critical DQs. So it was really shocking to me that it happened, and it might turn out really favorably for Avatar and bad for Danger Zone in the long run.
Leave it to a green division captain to take something about another team and make it completely about their own team. The fuck, man. Only Mange that. This is our show. We could do that. You can't. Fuck.
It was Gideon Echo and not Grim.
It was Gideon Echo. That's what I assumed.
Yeah, no, it just felt like Grim DQ'd because he got whooped so bad.
Ooh.
So,
Damn.
yo, it's that kind of. I told you. I
He's going off today.
I
all the
told
5
you. Oh fuck. Oh, Brunson, this is still all your fault, man. Moving on down the line to my shocker of the week. What the fuck did I even write? Oh, because it's my show and I'm allowed to be a self-centered dick. I went with NWA over Entropy. Not on the fact that NWA won, but there's been a lot of shit talk, especially from me to Salt, about the two teams. And Salt did that thing where he put his money where his mouth is, and Entropy scored a pitiful 5 points. Thankfully, Smoke Salmon, our captain, was the first to run to Entropy's defense by saying, "We fucking suck." Thank you, Joe, for that vote of confidence. Really appreciate it. But what shocked me was the nature in which NWA beat Entropy. They maxed out. You cannot score any more points than they scored. So this has kind of turned into a season for Entropy where when they've been tested with a true threat, they seem to kind of choke. And then they do get these big wins when you would expect them to, but then, yes, we all know what happened early on in the season. We're not going to talk about that one upset. That's not really an upset if you look at it now. But,
No.
you know, it's getting to the point where it's like they win when they should win, but when they face a challenge, they get stomped. And that's kind of a shocker for all the hopes that obviously I had as a manager, cheerleader of a team for Entropy this season, and what many of us had as their outlook for the season. The fact that NWA just took it behind the fucking shed there and broke backed them was pretty rough. So our key win of the week,
Broke back to them.
Mange and Mange and fucking what's this kid's name? Lemur.
Uh-huh.
You guys kind of talked about the same win for your win of the week. Tell us more about it.
Well, I'm gonna go first because fuck Layman.
Yep. Fair enough.
Avatar looked dead in the water. They're struggling very hard, and then they came up against the gift of Zenergy.
The fucking gift.
The
They're
gift of
going to cut their
energy.
23 points, and are now alive in the playoff picture. They are in second by like 11, I think. So like,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
long as they don't implode, which is asking for a fucking lot, from Avatar, as long as they don't implode, they're gonna make playoffs. And then once you get to playoffs, like it doesn't matter, right? Like regardless of how disappointing the season was, it's anyone's game at that point. So good for them getting a big win when they needed it. What do you think, Lehman? How do you guys?
I think that first of all, it's absolutely ridiculous that 1 week can shape a division like that. Like we were far out of the playoff picture, and Danger Zone was quite solidified. And like, just like I talked about, the 2 DQs really hurt Danger Zone and let us take advantage of it. And it just so happened that we were going against Zenergy that week. Zenergy also got a DQ. God's Gift DQ'd against myself. But the rest of Avatar had a solid week. All of us won, obviously. We got the 20 points. But I think that the biggest thing that we have to take away from the Avatar versus Zenergy matchup is that they're two green teams. Zenergy, like Mange said, has been kind of a gift to teams all season. They've gotten a lot of DQs. They've not really been in the game a whole lot. And now that Avatar got matched up against them during the 1 week that Danger Zone just decided to become DQ Zone, that was extremely fortunate for Avatar, and fortunate that we played well enough to get into the position to take advantage of that, to get into the second playoff spot. And I think being up by 11 in that playoff spot, Danger Zone needs to work at it and not get any more DQs, and they need to win solidly to get back into that playoff picture. But for sure, it's looking a lot worse for Danger Zone than it was just a week ago, and a lot better for us after having, like Mange said, a rather subpar season. Just to be in the playoff picture is kind of ridiculous.
All I heard was Avatar got in a position, and the only position I know of is power bottom. So,
Yep.
you know, Zenergy has been a gift to their opponents this season, the same way that Avatar has been a gift to the meme life. So I do think this was a key win for Avatar this week, but I went a different route because means what's the saying? I think it's fuck lemur, right?
Fucking there.
Fuck lemur. Um,
Yeah.
my key win of the week went to last season's was it last season? Yeah, it was last season's MVP.
Yeah.
Cheesy 10, getting a big sweep over Top Hat Demon. Um, Netherstorm has been an up and down team this season, a team with a lot of potential, a team that even in their hard times here at Tavern Talk, we've stayed with them, unlike those bastards from Noobs. Um, but Cheesy coming out and winning is not that big of a deal. We all know that Cheesy's a great player. He won the fucking MVP for a reason. But to set a tone in a week this important, and to set it in such a way that you score 4 points for your team, max you can, in denying your opponent anything, kind of set fucking what's the name of that team over there, Netherstorm, up to topple a very powerful Aeon. And I thought that was a big win for the morale and looking at a potential playoff picture for Netherstorm as we move forward. Which, by the way, that's playoff talk. It wasn't directly
Playoff talk.
playoff talk. So what the fuck, Nate? I acknowledged it. Why are you messaging me? Get out of my inbox. It does not go down the DMs for us. All right? What happens between us happens in public. Fuck. All right.
It is pretty entertaining, the side stream. It's
Yeah,
quite good.
if you guys have not, I will say it so Nate will get out my DMs. I posted it in the fucking chat. Check out the content on our sister channel, Nate NC. You could simul stream the two to get everything you need on Tavern Talk and also live fact checking on Nate NC.
Yeah.
Fuck. There we go. He's in, guys. He's in my fucking DMs again.
I closed out the document and I'm just watching this side stream now, just so you guys.
So, moving on down in this great list of fucking shit that we're doing tonight. What did we learn from week 5? What did week 5 teach us? In the question I want to pose to you guys, I touched on it a little bit earlier. Entropy loses again to another big team. This hot cold situation against their favored and unfavored teams, are they black and white? Or can Entropy rise during these great times, these middle of the pack teams, or these could win situations to make a final week push to end up in a playoff spot? Is it possible? What did we learn from last week that would change that opinion?
It is possible. But all right, so I'm gonna say this, and I feel bad saying it because they're all my friends over at Entropy.
Yep.
I think they're just bad. Like, we can make excuses for them all we want, but this is now after 1 week in week 1, they have yet to win, and they've played some pretty shit teams in there as well. Well, you know, with some good teams as well. So I think that they're just bad. I don't know why they're bad, but I think they're just a bad team.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, Mage. I think that they're, on paper, should be one of the biggest teams in THL. Like, they should be one of the most solid, just from the track record of all of the people that they have on their team. Like, Imbolc did fantastic on Team Rank 5. D. Lyman, when he played his matches, does amazing. Arcane THL, most hyped 4 seed coming into the season. Anarchist, super good 5 seed. Smoke Salmon, super good 2 seed. Like, on paper, they should just be dominating everyone they come up against, but it just hasn't happened this season. So I think we, at some point, and I think that point is now, have to stop saying, okay, but Entropy could have done this, or Entropy maybe could have maybe done this. We just have to say, okay, they're not doing it, so they have to prove it to us. We can't keep just letting them have the benefit of the doubt, I guess.
That being said, like, bad teams can win, and if they get in the playoffs, they can sneak in these next couple of weeks. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, we saw a bad team in Avatar last season make the final. Like, you can erase a bad season once they're in the playoffs, because it just doesn't matter what you did. Now it's just about week to week. Yeah.
Jedi said it.
What?
Jedi said it. All right. So here's the next one. Is Blue locked up, or Does Netherstorm's late season performance bring in question marks? They have a large gap to make up to earn themselves a playoff spot, but is it possible for them going into the final week of this season, and coming off of a win like they did against Aeon, for them to Harry Generals? Sorry, words are failing me. Harry Generals are above them in the blue division. Do they have the potential to topple another big team to earn the points and make a late push for the playoffs? Thoughts?
I feel like it's locked up. It can do it, obviously, but it's just it's a tall order. It's a really tall order.
Yeah.
It's so hard to win the way you won. They won last week and then do it again against the Generals. So, yeah, it just feels like it's locked up, and I feel like Generals and Aeon are just gonna move on.
Because even that, like, if you look at the matchups for Aeon and the Harry Generals, like Harry Generals has another Storm this week, Aeon has Golden Wisp this week. I don't think that Golden Wisp is going to be able to put up a good enough performance against Aeon to like halt their I think it was not a coincidence. It was a kind of, I'm going to say it, I think it was kind of a farce that Netherstorm beat Aeon this week. I think that Aeon has been the consistently good team this season, and Netherstorm has not. So I think that Aeon's going to continue that excellence they've had all season. I think they're going to beat Team Golden Wisp and continue their run toward the playoffs. And because of that, I don't think Netherstorm is going to be able to get the points in the next 2 weeks while having both the Harry Generals and Aeon not get the points that they usually get. Because you have to look at it that way.
Just looking at the standings real quick, Netherstorm can 23-0 the Harry Generals, and they'd be tied with them.
Yeah.
So I actually, just looking at it now, I don't think it's gonna happen.
It'd be more likely that they would replace Aeon, if anything, and that's still a 12-point. That's still a 12-point difference.
Yeah, they need Aeon to have another poor week against a not very good team, or not great team, I should say, in the Gold Split. So,
who also got 2 DQs last week with Drubik's Cube and Humpinar.
Yeah, I think it's just too little too late for Netherstorm. Good win, nice try.
Rip. And last but not least, and I know, Mange, that you and Cassidy, when we talk about this, try to do the objective, unbiased thing. But truthfully, can anyone stop Team Rank 5?
It's not like we're being humble. It's just we know how this works. Absolutely. Of course people.
So let me add the little caveat here that I didn't add in the question in the document. If anyone can do it, who's most likely to be able to do it? And think of this from like a playoff type perspective, teams that you might actually face off against moving forward.
We had what I thought was one of the best teams ever assembled a couple of seasons ago, and we lost to Continuum, who is no longer in the league. It's like it doesn't, like, any team that makes the playoffs is good enough to beat us. Teams that don't make the playoffs are good lemur, to beat us.
All right, Lemur, because he's not gonna give me the fucking answer I want.
I'm sorry. I don't. What do you want? Like, that's the truth.
Lemur,
we're gonna lose this week to Noob Central most likely.
Who's gonna find the Achilles heel and fucking go for it?
I can absolutely see what Mange is saying, where it's Hearthstone. Like, it's a game that has RNG in it. It's a game that some people just have bad days, some people have good days. I think, like Mange said, any team could beat any team on a fair enough day, but that can be said about any sport. I think what you're asking for is both hard to actually say, both for Mange because he's a captain, but also because...
Mange, tell the future right now. I don't fucking know, Jackson.
My attempt to look at it, though, would be the team that would beat Team Rank 5 would have to win in the 5 seed. Rogue is a fantastic player, but he's the player that hasn't been performing as well as the rest of Team Rank 5, which isn't saying much because the rest of Team Rank 5 has just been demolishing everything. So you'd like have to win in the 5 seed, and then you would have to pick off at least 2 other games somewhere. I think, honestly, like, the Harry Generals could just do it based on the fact that all of their players are generally pretty evenly matched. Like, Dag would have a great match against Rogue. Mark Shire would have a fantastic match against Parker. Poker, great player. Bork's been having a fantastic season. Like, they would all just be really good Hearthstone matches, and it would come down to who's playing better at the time. But, yeah.
Teams that match up with us the best, I think, are the Generals, Aeon, and Noob Central.
Yeah.
That's
I
all the
thought
fuck I wanted. That's all the fuck I wanted. Was I asking
Game
too
Pass
much?
was
God
Yes, you are.
damn.
Tell the future, man. I don't know. I don't know
Holy
the future.
fuck. So I would have to agree in the sense of I think the Harry Generals are a great matchup round for round with um, Team Rank 5 as far as what team could potentially take 3 out of the 5 matchups off of Team Rank 5. I think Aeon brings some interesting questions, but I think the Generals lineup is a little better suited to take on possibly the second team ever in THL history to have 3 500 PR players. We'll see what happens with that.
Pretty close.
It will be adjusted after this week as there are some early results in that we'll get into in a moment that will change some of that.
Wait.
But
I will say,
100, bro. Who's close to 500, bro?
500 for you guys. You have Slim Shari there, Loaded Lux, but we'll get into that, and MV Parker at 490.
Holy fuck.
you're all very
I'm
close.
building this team next season.
Yep.
You're gonna have to pull an NWA.
No, I'm just quitting.
So
I'm not-
moving
on
on
top.
down because I want to get into the week 6 and some of the we have a lot of early results this week, guys.
Yeah, we do.
If you don't keep up with the spreadsheet, there's a lot of results already in. PPR, fucking player power rankings. Fuck that shit. I don't even look at that. Fuck. I'm sure. Actually, hold on. I just want to see. I want to see one thing. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. There's the one I want. All right. THL player power rankings put together by some cuck. No, wait. This is the one put together by Jerry. Never mind. We have a very interesting dilemma. So we finally broke the Team Rank 5 infighting. 2 Team Rank 5 members entered at 1 and 2. 1 left, still in the top 2. However, he fell a bit. So, real fast, first Team Rank 5 member to show up on the list, MV Parker at number 10. Poker of the Harry Generals at number 9. Phoebus or Phobos, I never know how to pronounce his name properly.
I call him
But
Phoebus.
Phoebus, we'll go with Phoebus,
Yeah, I
coming
say
at 8. Adidas doing his thing at number 7. Jesus C taking a tough loss to a great opponent in Aroy. Falls to number 5, and that great opponent in which he lost to sits above him at number... nope, sorry. Loaded Lux is number 5. My apologies. Jesus C is number 6. Loaded Lux, another Team Rank 5 member, number 5. And Aroy is at number 4. My apologies. So that was a big win there, and definitely losing number 4. Can't be embarrassed or ashamed about that. Dag Randolph with the Dag hype coming in at number 3. Slimsh, another Team Rank 5 motherfucker. Rogue, why aren't you on this list? Why does Rogue suck so much? Get on the fucking list, Rogue. Slimsh is in number
All out.
2. Slimsh is in number 2 at 5-0 with a 15-4 total record. Bork is sitting at 5-0 with a 12-3 record. This is why I don't like raw data, because statistically speaking, at 12-3, Bork has not won as many games as the 15-4 Slimsh, but when your opponent's DQ, fuck it. But Bork is having a great season. 5-0, sitting at 12 wins, 3 losses in individual games. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Fuck raw data. Slimsh deserves to be number 1. Dag deserves to be number 2. Bork, I have no problems with you being number 4 behind all the guys that have played 15 matches and have 1 loss left. They have 3 wins more, 1 loss less. Or 1 loss more. I'm thinking like awarding points.
I think the raw data approach has problems with that a lot. Like, you obviously have to include the data in it. You're not going to be able to just say, okay, this is who I think is the best. You can say that, but then it's just opinion. So raw data is definitely helpful, but you have to say, in my opinion anyway, you have to say, okay, they've played more games. They have more of a percent, because I think it was like 80% to 79% was the reason that Slimsh wasn't on top. But you have to factor in that those 3 games just didn't get played at all. So I think you should look at that as well as the raw data when you're building this power ranking. So I'd say, yeah, probably Slimsh is on top, Dag second. Like you said, Jack sucks.
This just goes back to the whole thing about DQs and stuff. DQs is the way they do it, and if it says Bork's the best player, then good for him. That's so awesome because I know he didn't have the best of seasons last season, so it's cool that he found a home where he could succeed and is now kicking it. Like that's so cool.
I mean that's all well and good. And for Salt, I don't need to make my own list because I come on here and shit on everybody else's list and tell you what I would do instead here. So you want to know what I would change about my list? I'm fucking telling you live. I don't need to write it down. And you guys can talk shit to me right here and now. Much like Mange with his power rankings, he's right here if you want to bitch at him about the power rankings. And point number 2 about the raw data, some of the I forgot what your gamer tag is there. I can never. It's like Azember as fucking that dude Azembero. Tony Montana, who's a fucking stud by the way.
Yeah.
He is a stud. No, so there's using percentages. I don't mind using raw data when it's all based on continuous set. If our data set is based off of 300 for everybody, that's fine. But if these guys are going to be weighed on a set of 300, these dudes are going to be weighed on a set of 200, you cannot compare those percentages. It doesn't work. It's not equivalent. So that's what my point is about why I don't like the raw data approach when not all the data is the same. Those guys that have 19 matches to talk about over there, that's different than somebody that's only got 15 to talk about. So that's my point to that. Moving on though, moving forward. Power rankings for the teams. Because these two talked about something that I'm sure had credit, and I bitched at chat, but fuck it, I do what I want. For those of you who did not see it, just prior to Tavern Talk going live...
Really bad timing on our part.
Well, I'm sure it took that video a little bit to load. Parker on the THL Facebook. They're trying a new approach, Mange. Why don't you tell everybody what you guys did this week and why you chose to go that route?
Yeah. So, I'm lazy, and writing took a long time, and Cassie last week suggested, hey, instead of you writing, why don't we all get on video, and then we'll talk about the power rankings instead and have a roundtable discussion. And that's great, because then I don't have to write. Of course, he didn't, fucking show because he had, like, volleyball and shit. So instead of, like, a power rankings write-up, we decided to make a short video, a 15, 16-minute video, just running through the teams real quick, talking about why they're where they're at. We can get out more information in this format in a much, much shorter period of time. So I think it benefits everyone as long as you have the time to put into it. So I think as long as no one has any, as long as there's not a lot of objection to it, we're just going to do this format from now on. And like I said, what we did is we just went through each team, why we ranked them where they're at, and what they have to look forward to. So I think it turned out pretty well for the first time.
Mm-hmm. I only got to listen to a few minutes of it because, as we said, it was like, I think truthfully we had 7 minutes before Tavern Talk was live when the video was posted, and it's a 16-minute long video. So they tell you about each team, man. If you figure 16 teams, that's roughly a minute per team. So go hear what they think about your team. I will say this, man. I don't really have any qualms. I guess you could put a few teams lower, but truthfully, as we get to playoffs, I'm thinking, what does the top 8 look like, and is that accurate? I think you guys did a great job this week. I'm excited to see Team 1600 Gods up there in the 3 spot. I think NWA's statement win. You could make an argument that NWA could have gone a little higher, but you can't really move too much on 1 week. We've been over that time and time again in the power rankings. It's a solid list, and I initially scratched my head at the noobs because fuck the noobs. I don't know if I've said that. Fuck those guys.
Nate, come on.
What a bunch of cucks. But honestly, once I started looking at it, because I know when I bitch about things, people go, well, what would you do instead? I honestly didn't have a better answer than what you guys had there. So, pretty good. Lemur, was there anything on this list that you were kind of like, what the fuck about?
Not particularly. I did see the Noob Central like in the spot that you said, but I don't think that's undeserved. Like they've been doing well and they're in the playoffs right now. The one that's kind of interesting to me is Team Golden Wisp, Entropy Avatar, like that whole progression right there. Just because I don't know, teams like how they rank them is how the team is doing and what their point value is and like the results of their matches and everything like that. I've heard some people talk about saying like, okay, but if they're in the top of their division, then they should be on the top of the power rank. I don't think that's true at all. It depends completely on performance. But what I wanted to point out is like the Team Golden Wisp Entropy Avatar. There's 3 green teams in the bottom. It goes from 12, right? Yeah, 3 green teams from 12 to 16, comparative to the rest of the list, which shows just how like weak of a division green is and how weak of a division it was last season. But I think it's even more so this season, and that's really, really interesting to see, especially like this late into the season. Team 1600 Dust is in at 3. They're just like so far a bit above where all of the rest of green is that I think having a second playoff spot in green is kind of a joke, right? Like none of us have had good seasons. So why is the second team getting the playoffs when 1600 Dust has done so well? So I think that it's just interesting to see that on the power rankings, and it's probably something that should be talked about. But I don't
know. Green is a meme. We've talked about that, but you know what? It's I have to give them credit as you look at if you've played Team Rank 5 this season, you've got steamrolled, right? So if you look at orange, you have 3 teams that at the beginning of the season I could have flipped a coin on having them go to the playoffs to have orange. I'm sorry, I was not as high on the damaged ones as some other people were. And part of the reason for that was not me thinking the damaged ones were an inferior team, but when you looked at that division, it was fucking stacked. So I like to give Green a little bit of a break in the fact that they got paired up against Orange this season, but I don't feel that Red and Blue did as poorly against Orange as Green has done. But then again, Noob Central was not stacked the way they are this season. Defias Brotherhood, a team that doesn't get a lot of attention on the grand scale, but we try to highlight here of just solid lineup. I don't know if Green is as big of a meme this season as they've been in the past. You have a legit contender in the 1600 Dust. Avatar, I don't know what the fuck you guys are doing over there that you have 68 points. I don't know who you're beating other than Synergy, but you kind of look at it and yeah, you said Green's kind of a meme with 2 playoff teams. I don't know. It depends on what you guys honestly over at Avatar do. If you want to take the momentum of the big win last week and do something with it, you know, are you a playoff team at 12 in the power rankings? I don't know, but when you have Team Rank 5, Noob Central, and Defias Brotherhood coming out of the same division above you on the list, you know, because I like to think of the top 8 teams on this list should be the playoff teams, but that's not the case because of the way our divisions are split up. So the long ramble there, which I forgot I was talking halfway through it, is that I think we give Green a lot of shit. I've been on the forefront of giving Green shit, but they went up against a fucking stacked Orange division this season, and I don't think they did too bad, all things considering. Especially those guys over there at 1600 Gods. Zergy, I'm sorry, I can't make any excuses for you guys. That's almost as bad as Entropy last season, dude. Get the fuck together. I think we had 2 more weeks to score that low points, though.
I'd like to see someone go through each division and see which division has the most DQs. I think it's great.
It's
great. And I say
that's not even
I can do it.
No, it's definitely green. Just from Xenergy, I think statistic that we were talking about in Avatar chat. I'm pretty sure the total is like 6, 7, 8 DQs have come out as Xenergy this season.
That's amazing.
which is ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. And then the 2 from Danger Zone this week. Danger Zone has 3 this season. Just, like, the amount of matches that have not been played in green is absolutely ridiculous. If you total that all up, let's say that, we'll go with 7 since I said 6, 7, 8. Let's say 7 plus the 3 from Danger Zone. That's 10. That's 30 points that were just given out. Like, or not 30 points, because it's 4 points for a win, right?
Yeah.
They were just given out. And because of that, I think, like, looking at the green division and saying that all of the teams in green were teams that were completely in it this season and contenders, that's just a joke. Because if you're not playing your matches, you're not playing your Hearthstone matches, you're doing your team a disservice, but you're also doing, I think, your opponents a disservice. They join this league to play Hearthstone matches, right? And if you're not giving that to them, they'll take the 4 points and they'll move up in their divisions and try to make playoffs to get to play more Hearthstone. But it's just ridiculous, the amount of DQs that have come out of green. And, like, the amount of DQs we've had this season in general is astounding to me. I don't like it at all.
Green division giving away wins like Aunt Julie is giving away fake girlfriend shoutouts.
Oh my gosh.
Moving on to week 6. Aunt Julie's nice people. Preview of week 6. The matches that we are most excited for. Mange, tell us a little bit about this one.
Yeah, I think the Danger Ones and Defias Brotherhood.
Dangered ones? You mean damaged ones?
Whatever the hell. Yeah, they're all the same.
But he's excited to see it, damn it.
I mean, not really. I'm gonna be honest. No, I am. The Damaged Ones and Defias Brotherhood, because, well, it was looking like they were in the running to be in that second playoff spot when I wrote this. Looks less likely now with Duke Central kicking our ass. But they were really close for a playoff spot. They're really close in points on the table. So it's almost like an elimination. In fact, I would say it is an elimination match. The team that loses this is going to be out. So it's playoff.
100%.
Yeah, they're going to be out. So that's high stakes, a lot on the line, and 2 pretty evenly matched teams. Probably, I don't know.
There actually is there's a lot more on that than I originally thought when I was giving you shit, man. I think though, as you look at that lineup, and the damaged one's going up against the 5, it doesn't have any matches played yet. If you look at the rest of Orange, it looks like we're talking about a review of the week here, but you can't help but to feel like it leans quite heavily in the favor of the damaged ones. But you never know, because Defias, I mean, they've been doing it kind of all season, right? They're PR under dogs, but they find ways to win. But that's kind of a scary uphill battle they're looking at in the 1 and 2. Comp is a stud. I still can't believe Comp's down there in the 4 seed after repping the 1 seed for as long as he did. But he's playing in a division where 4 seeds in Orange. Being a 4 seed in Orange is like being a 2 seed in a lot of other divisions.
I really like Defias in this one, actually. It's a little bit weirder now. I think that, like, if Comp was still the 3 seed and Arrow was the 4 seed, I'd actually feel even stronger about that. But I think with Arrow being up in the 3 seed against Iris Bear, like, that matchup is a lot closer than it would be otherwise. Whereas Comp, I think, would be favored pretty heavy, and Arrow would be pretty favored heavy in the 4 seed. So. But I still like Defias overall.
Defias, boys. God, that'd be great.
That switch up is super, super interesting to me. Like, with Aroy jumping up that spot, it'll make it a lot more interesting than I think it would be otherwise.
For those of you who have never done it, because, like, I look at these things and I think about them week in, week out, but there's so many fucking names and storylines going on that it's kind of hard to take them all in. Look at the storyline that's been the Orange Division 4 seed this season. Just everybody do yourselves a favor and fucking look at that. And then think about how much it must suck to be a 4 seed in that division. Lots of studs down there, even a power bottom. So, good pick. I like it. I like it a lot. Lemur, I want to go to you on this one because I just want to fucking rip you apart. What the fuck is this?
What?
All right.
I'm very, very excited for Temporal Legends versus NWA.
Why?
All right, so Temporal Legends, right? They've been having beyond what anybody could expect for them in their first season of THL. They've been doing great. Versus NWA, also fantastic this season. Not hyped up as much as last season, obviously, but they've been just routinely kicking ass. I mean, they're in 4th in the power rankings. They're in the playoffs currently, as are Temporal Legends. So seeing this matchup, I'm really excited for Hector versus Tony Montana. That'll be a great matchup. Arthur versus Chigmo is just going to be great. The entire Temporal Legends squad was completely new to the mainstream THL this season, and to see them come out and perform as they have, I think it's going to be very entertaining to watch NWA versus Temporal Legends. So it's just from a pure spectator fan standpoint, that was the match I was really excited for.
Things were said, and I just wrote jadated. Sorry, the chat was way more interesting than anything you were saying right there, but I'm actually kind of sure that Mange, he might have made a point in there. Did he? Like a good one?
I was listening.
Oh.
Literally text.
Fuck.
By the way, I counted, and it is 7 for Xynergy.
Fuck Lemur. Moving on. By the way, I definitely like Brunson's take on that matchup. If you guys want to read up in chat, that's fantastic. I will say this: I look at the matchup between NWA and Temporal Legends. They're actually, fuck it. I'm bringing it up now. I'm hyped as fuck to see Tony Montana and Hector face off. I'll get into more detail for that, but I just want to throw that comment in there. Now, I want you guys to know I picked my most excited matchup before I knew Lemur was going to be our guest. Because it's not often I look at the green division and go, oh shit, I'd actually like to watch that. Because that's like saying, please kick me in the fucking balls. But I'm actually excited to see what happens between Avatar and Team 1600 Gods this week. Because here's the truth of the matter is, 1600 Gods are legit. They've had themselves a great season, not just beating up on Green Division. They've had great games against Orange as well.
Yeah.
So this isn't a case of, oh, they beat the living fuck out of Xynergy and look where they are. Avatar has been nothing short of a meme this season, but they win occasionally.
Occasionally. There you go.
They got 68 points. They don't have 57. They don't have 33. They're only 3 points off of Defias Brotherhood, who I think is a really good team. I want to see what Avatar does against Team 1600 Dust. Because if they get fucking shellacked and just run out of the goddamn building, I hope that Danger Zone puts like 1,000 points on Xynergy, and we don't have to watch Team Avatar make a meme of a high roll to fucking runners up in the championship. So
Did that happen last season or something?
This is kind of like, for me, to see Avatar has a shot. I don't know if they've known this throughout the season. I know that G-Nets and Brunson have been doing everything they can to start the revolution. But knowing that Avatar's in a position to be in the playoffs, can they fucking pull it together? Can they put a real showing together against a team like 1600 Dust? And on paper, I'm only going to say this on paper, it looks like a good matchup. G-Nets is a fucking stud, going up against another stud with a ridiculous hat. Pumbaa's is favored. If that's true or not, I mean, as long as he doesn't bring Zula there or some other bullshit. Brunson is going to play memes, but he's been winning with memes.
Excuse me, Jack Sox. I can't let you call Panzerogue a meme. I'm pretty sure Brunson would disown me.
He's probably
serious, Dex.
He's probably pissed that you just made that comment. You look at it down the whole line there, and with the exception of yourself and Zabgar being minor underdogs and like marginal, it's barely even what's the fucking word I'm looking for? Shit doesn't really matter. You're that close in PR with Ziggy Sarah and I'm gonna say rock bass. I don't know if it's rock bass, but I'm gonna go with rock bass because that's fucking cooler. So it could be a meme off. It could be utter shit. Avatar could get blown out of the fucking building. Or maybe this could be a chance for Avatar to prove what they've really got and make something out of the week. Speaking of making something out of the week, there's a couple of really great individual matchups that are happening in an important week. On some teams, they could be the pivotal matchup in determining a playoff spot or not coming up. And we actually all chose different ones, which I really like. Mange, what two players are you most excited to see face off this week and why?
Oh, I actually just mentioned his name in chat. I'm excited to see Dank Randolph versus Gemini.
Thank Randolph!
Dank Randolph having himself an MVP-like season. Gemini, MVP runner-up. Struggling a little bit, as we mentioned, but yeah. Give me some of that.
Pumbas, you're the fucking MVP right now. That is the deck to bring.
Fire Mage, sick.
Yeah, sick AF. Definitely a great matchup between two of the premier 5 seeds in the league, and I hope I somewhere in life I have the Salty Cider lineup. I didn't put in the doc for you guys, so I don't think they're being streamed. But if they're not, somebody should find out how we get those two people onto the Meme Stone Heroes and Meme Craft Team Hearth League stream. That should be a thing in our lives. Putting that out there.
Yep. I'm sure Jedi asked him.
So, Dank and Gemini, find some third party affiliate, make it happen. If not, I will be let down. And I think I'm mainly talking to Dank Randolph because I know Gemini will get streamed if it was an option. She always says yes. Fuckface McGee, tell us about your pick.
Well, assuming you're talking about me, my pick is Grimm versus Dexter Hearthstone this week. I think it's going to be a great match. It's two 5 seeds that have been having really good seasons. Dexter's been doing pretty well in SHL, and Grimm is just generally a very solid 5 seed, so I'm really excited. I would love to see their match get streamed. They're just two good 5 seeds duking it out, and I was excited to see the match.
Yeah, 2 5 seeds for sure.
I'm just going to move forward. Mange said everything I needed to hear. I kind of alluded to a little earlier. I don't often like to go with 1 seeds. I feel like it's an easy out in these hyped up matchups. But Tony Montana and Hector Howell are 2 guys in this league that are sitting up there in the 500-ish land that I wonder how much of that 500 is just maintained from the PR boost versus people that might have actually earned being up there. And this is not a shot in any way, shape, or form at Hector. His first season in the THL, he's had a great individual record. But Tony Montana's been doing this for a couple seasons now, and he's been a stud for a while. He was involved in MVP conversations, proven great player within the league. And this is another opportunity for Hector to prove to me that his name should be up there with the 500 PR 1 seeds in the league that we talk about in that godlike status. So it's put up or shut up for Hector, and Tony Montana can add another notch to his belt of respectable opponents that he's beaten, and I can't wait to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, another match that Chad is actually mentioning right now is Slimsh versus Ray C, which did that happen already, Mange, or did that get postponed?
It's in the
happening
now, like at 9.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Good to know. But that's also like really good match to look forward to this week. I just didn't know if it had happened already yet.
Yeah,
so
that's another one that is that would have been real easy to pick. That is a fucking rank 1. He's finished. Racy has finished ranked 1, right?
Yeah.
Like straight up, just not even top 10. Fucking rank 1 against Slimsh, who has the greatest record over his career in THL history. There has never been a player with a higher PR in THL history than Slimsh, although Cheesy is coming for that ass. But yeah, words and things. So that's a match that's happening, and we could be hyped for it too. I do not dare to try to venture a guess on Racy versus Slimsh. Racy is a fucking stud of a player. Slimch is the ultimate. Slimch is the Bill Belichick of THL, even though he's not a coach. The mind games he fucking plays, and it doesn't matter. I honestly think, like you look at the Patriots, and you're like, who the fuck is this fifth string running back, and why does he have 100 yards tonight? I've never fucking heard of him. Who is this JUCO tight end that just caught 3 fucking touchdowns? That's Slimch. Anyways, I digress. Pick 'em. Fucking pick 'em. Once again, this list was made before I knew Lemur was going to be on here because I'm trying to avoid Entropy, Team Rank 5, or our guest teams, just to give you guys the kind of standings. Mange knows his shit and is 5-2 in the pick'em this season. I am fucking fantastic. I know everything there is to know about THL, and I am 3-4. Feels bad, man. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I throw somebody a bone in the pick'em here, and it's not working out for me. Fuck you, Zenergy. You screwed me twice. And our guests are a perfect 7-0.
Oh God.
Now
That's kind of scary.
This does not include the 2 ties we've had. Obviously, all the way around the board, we have ties. 2 of them. So let's get into it. Our pick'ems for this week. First up on the docket, Mange, Avatar versus 1600 Gods. Who? And 10 seconds if you want on why.
I'm going to go ahead and go with the 1600 Gods. One of those teams has Brunson, and the other one does not. So, clear advantage to the team without Brunson.
Yep. I am also going to go with the 1600 Gods because you don't fucking pick fight with gods.
All right. I am going to go with. I gotta think about it long and hard. Team Avatar. We're coming out strong. Pants Rogue is the new meta. We're winning this week. Don't worry about it.
Oh God! Somebody please end this show already. Arby's? What? There's a THL group trip to Arby's? Sorry, I just got distracted by chat. Team Golden Whips versus Aeon. Was there results already in this one? There's no results in this one at this point. Who you got, Mange?
Aeon had a rough week. They're going to bounce back.
I was going to initially, when I wrote this one, go with Team Golden Wisp, but the DQ situations, it's a real thing in life, and I'm a little nervous about it. So based on that, I'm going to go with Aeon as well. Lemur, who you got and why?
I don't think Golden Wisp. Yeah, Golden Wisp won't be getting a DQ this week unless it's a mismatch time because all of them have submitted classes. But
Showing up is half the battle.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with Aeon. I think they're going to want vengeance after their last week. They're going to come back strong and show why they're a playoff team.
The Harry Generals versus Netherstorm. Mange, who you got?
Oh, Generals. I think they're just better.
Just better. Straight up better.
Just better.
I need 30 seconds to confirm that I believe what I believe. That goes in favor of that. That goes in favor of that. That goes that way. Fucking god damn it. Dank Randolph's going to be the deciding factor according to me. So I have to go the Harry Generals. I don't like that I agreed with you on all 3, Mange. I usually try to pick one that I could disagree with you on. Lemur, who you going with? The Harry Generals and Netherstorm.
I'm going to say Harry Generals is going to lose in the 3 seed. And maybe the 1 seed, but I think the Harry Generals is going to win overall. They just have a much more solid lineup, I think.
Jedi, I want you to know that he made a point of opening with they're going to lose in the 3 seed.
He literally just
super explosive sheep.
Wow.
Super explosive sheep.
Look at him now trying to upplay. Look at him now trying to upplay super explosive sheep, and not the fact that he just shit all over Jedi, the great founder of this fucking league. What an asshole. What an asshole. If I could mute just Lemur, I would do it.
They're both what? 1-4, I think.
Yeah. Get him, Jedi. Fucking
Seriously though, Jedi.
Do it.
Jedi. Whoa, you are a great Hearthstone player. You have not been having the best season. I haven't been having the best
Man,
season.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose this week.
I would like to say, ladies and gentlemen, that when I made the tragic announcement that Lemur was going to be our co-host tonight, Jedi was the first and for a long time the only supporter of Lemur, and Lemur just shit on that man.
I did not. Super Explosive Sheep's a great Hearthstone player. I
Oh,
think he's gonna win this week.
Why are you lying to him too?
just tell the truth, Lemur.
I'm telling
Cool.
the truth.
Can we
I
get
think
the
he's a
fact
great
checks?
Hearthstone. Definitely
Can we
better
get
than I am.
Can we get the live update fact checks? Can somebody leaks this shit? Come on, the fuck.
Super Sheep and Jedi are both Hearthstone players, and they're about to play a Hearthstone match.
They are.
Like, why
True.
are you trying to hype it up?
Man,
Hype what up? I'm
man.
just saying it's gonna be a good match. One of them is gonna win, and I think that this week it's gonna be Super Explosive Sheep.
Fucking Lemur. Fuck Lemur. All right. Wow. You know, this is actually a good segue. As we talk about the hot topic of the week. And this was a chat that I'm not gonna lie, I forgot who it was because it was mad late. One of the days I was sick and like all feverish and shit and couldn't remember what was going on. But we were having to talk about the good old days in THL. When Archon Storm was the big bully on the block that everybody fucking feared, when Hambowen and Jing were the two scariest players in the league, and just reputations and teams that are still around and teams that were sad are gone. So here's what the hot topic of the week is. We have the playoffs coming up. Legacies can be made or destroyed. Teams could save face. So, as we talk about it, these are some points. You don't have to address them, but in the sake of saving reputation, cementing a legacy, or possibly a one last hurrah kind of ordeal, who are some of the teams that you think will get into the playoffs that you might not expect? So obviously, you know, Team Rank 5 who cannot statistically be knocked out of the playoffs right now. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about these fringe teams. Could this possibly be the season that Team Rank 5 stops playing the runner-up and gets their much-deserved title? I truly mean that. There's no sarcasm there. And if Entropy, Avatar, or the Defias Brotherhood make their way in, can those teams save face on struggling seasons and kind of sort of live up to what we expect in the preseason? Any of that's all fair game. Have at it, boys.
All right, I'll take this one first. I think of the teams that are currently
Go ahead,
on,
Lemur, take it.
yeah, Mange, of the teams that are currently on the like fringe of the playoffs, and Temporal Legends and Entropy are tied right now. They're both at 67 points. I think, in my opinion, Temporal Legends is gonna edge that out over Entropy and make playoffs. Which will be sad because Entropy, as you said, has been around for a very long time, and they're one of those cemented THL teams that have a legacy going with them. I think Blue's locked up, Hera Generals and Aeon on top. I think that Green in Less Danger Zone can pull out some fantastic weeks, and Avatar just falls over themselves. I think that's going to be 1600 Dust and Avatar. And I think that Defias Brotherhood... not Defias Brotherhood, Noob Central is going to pull it out with Team Break 5 and Orange. So the teams that I think are going to make playoffs, Team Rank 5 getting their title, I am not sure. And that's just because it's Hearthstone. Team Rank 5 has always been a great Hearthstone team. Ever since Mange created the team, they've had a lot of fantastic teams across the seasons. It's always been Hearthstone, and it's always screwed them over at some point during the season. That hasn't happened yet this season, so I think it's going to happen during playoffs.
I agree with Lemur on divisions for sure. Honestly, if you look at divisions right now, that's who I think is getting in. As far as us winning a title, I mean, I'd love it. I would love it so much because we've tried really hard, like probably way harder than I'd like to admit. But like, to say any one team would win it, like, it's just so hard. Because of the things Lemur's talking about. Hearthstone's not a game that you can predict. It doesn't really matter. And I don't even know if we're the best teams. I just, on pure probability, I would say no.
So
And yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of one of the thoughts I had when I was looking at this is that we've seen people in the past, like I feel like Team Rank 5 is that quarterback that is a first ballot Hall of Famer, but you're hesitant to put him up there because they don't have that Super Bowl ring. You know they're the
we're
best.
Dan Marino.
What's that?
We're Dan Marino.
Yeah.
Literally Dan Marino.
You know,
Team Rank 5.
there's nobody out there that's been in this league for more than one season who doesn't know the reputation, the quality that they put out, and I think, and I'm not trying to speak for anybody, but I think there's guys that have held on to Team Rank 5 and done everything they can for Team Rank 5 because they need that title in order to be able to kind of let go. We have great names that back out of the league, not because of anything wrong with the league or whatever, but it's kind of like, you hand over the reins. It's that passing of the torch type deal. Um, and I'd really like to see Team Rank 5 get that championship, cement their place in THL history, but also I think it'd be really interesting to see what happens with the team once the championship is gathered. Because if you look at this season, there's no way Team Rank 5 can keep those top three and have a legit team next season. Um, so it's gonna be interesting to see what that championship does for developing them next season. A couple other thoughts that I had in there, and I know I was rambling when I was giving the question, but like Avatar last season, Lemur won some bullshit award. Um, honestly earned, deserving. I actually don't want shit on Lemur for this segment. Um, put together a team that everybody shit on. They were the 16th ranked team in the preseason power rankings, and they made it to runners up. You could say they high rolled their way in there. 18 other teams, because there was two teams in the championship last season, had an opportunity to be in the championship game and weren't. So they did something right. And to see this team every single week attempt to implode, attempt to rebel, and an attempt to just fucking do everything they can to make sure that Lemur would not experience the same success again. Here's fucking Avatar sitting with a chance to make it into the playoffs again. And I think if that happens, we might have to start thinking of Avatar as the new version of the old Noobs. Because I no longer think if the Noobs make the playoff this season, this is the last little piece I had on this solidifying legacies, the Noobs have been notorious for shitting on the first half of the season, pulling it together late season, and making a playoff run. I don't think that this is now considered a gimmick. If the Noobs make it into the playoffs this season, I think we could contribute that to Nade's ability to help his players, or to maybe it's not him. Maybe he's bringing players on there doing this that help the team adjust as the season goes on and correct things. Kind of the same way we saw Netherstorm fuck it up the first 3 weeks last season and make a run. And Netherstorm has ended this season, even if they don't make the playoffs, in a respectable way by coming out, putting together big wins, performing well. So I think there's a lot of teams that can really have a huge impact on the reputation of their teams and their legacies in this league based on the way they perform going into these last few weeks of the season. But damn, man, I'm not trying to be too biased here because obviously I would love Entropy to sneak our way in and win a championship. We're an alpha team without a championship. But I think this needs to be Team Rank 5's year. It feels too right. I think there's too much to be lost if they don't win it this year. No pressure, Mange.
Oh, I'm not feeling pressure. I'm not playing. Go get him, guys.
I think Jacksox, I would agree with most of the points you just made. I would say that I wouldn't consider Avatar to be like the Noobs, where you make like a big late season push. It happened this season. Last season, it was our early weeks that got us into the playoffs because we were the only undefeated team after 5 weeks.
I think
we played that early season, and that's what got us into the playoffs. It's just reversed this season, but this season in general for us has been just rough. We've had losses. They've been close losses, and that's why we still have the points. But I don't think you can say that honestly we deserve to be in playoffs more than other teams. Like everybody who's in this league, their captains have pushed their teams, or should have been pushing their teams, and everyone in this league, just by merit of being in this league, joining THL, joining in this great family that we have, is deserving of recognition for being both here and for like contributing every single week. And I don't think there's a bigger indicator of that than how much effort Mange and Cassidy and all of them at Team Rank 5 have put in for the entire life of Team Rank 5.
I think if you compare Avatar and the Noobs, it's only because they both have shit captains.
Yep. Makes sense.
Oh, man. Fucking this show, man. This show's going too long. We need to end this shit. Salty Saturday, it's up in the top left. It's fucking baller. Alec GW Podcast is going up against Dot Dark, a important match between Golden Wisp and Aeon. NWA, it's, Pink Samus is going up against Fezsama of Temporal Legends. Pumbaa's BFF is going up against Tazriel of, or Tez, whatever the fuck it is, however I said it, of Team 1600 Gods. Great lineup starting at 9 o'clock. Hopefully the stream will actually start and Spectator won't be bugged this week, but we'll see what happens with that. What's on the line here, man? Actually, hold on a second, because now I look at this. This is actually, you have Dot Dark and Alec are just two great Hearthstone players. That's going to be a throwdown showdown. But Pink Samus versus Fezsama is important as Temporal Legends are locked perfectly even currently with Entropy. So that might have a lot of weight as to which team goes ahead there. And from Team Avatar and 1600 Dust, we talked about that. That is for the one spot over on the green division, which seeding matters, guys. Seeding does matter in the playoffs. And there are teams. You don't want to be the team that draws Team Rank 5 if you can help it. Just saying. I don't know how we're doing the brackets, if greens could go up against green or if it's going to be whatever. But anything you could do to put yourself in a better position to not have to round one Team Rank 5 when that gets decided, I would do that. So, Salty Saturday, a lot of implications, a lot of playoff shit on the line. Check it out. Our boy Slim will be over there. Not sure who his co-host. Anybody know who his co-host is this week?
Slim's is actually looking for a co-host. So if you're interested, email him. Hit him up on BattleNet. He's been looking hard. And like it shouldn't be me. Like,
Do not fucking let Lemur get on another THL broadcast, fam. Do not fucking let it happen. Please.
My vote's for G-Nets.
Unlike you, Slim really loves THL, and he wouldn't fucking do that to him.
Oh, hey. G-Nets is co-casting.
Why are you raising
Yes!
your hand?
Yes! Thank you, G-Nets.
Fuck you, G-Nets. You don't tell me nothing.
That's awesome. I'm glad to have G-Nets doing that.
G-Nets, he'll do it.
Yeah, he'll do a great job. Our sister stream's still going strong for those who don't know. Okay, Q&A. We're going to pull a few of these. We'll try to go through them quick. And that'll be that. Detrucci came out with a great question. And it's kind of just like a suggestion real quick. And your answer to that said suggestion: after the season, we will have managed to complete division play against every division. Do we think we should be shaking things up, or is this just a case of starting the cycle over again? So every division has played every division now. Which way is it going to head in the future?
I have no idea. If I had all the say, and I do not, I would shake up divisions and I would do it again. I would make it so the divisions are different. But if you've looked over this last 3 seasons, not only have we developed rivalries in these seasons, right? Entropy, NWA, it was the Generals and Supreme for the longest time. We've also developed division, like people rooting for the division. Like we see all the time, people in blue talking about how dog shit people in green are, or people in orange talking about how bad red is. Like I think it's created such a cool cycle. So if I had the say, I would shake up divisions, like get some different teams in there. Keep some as well though, because like Noob Central Team Rank 5, like it's all about that. Yeah. But and then I would start the 3-season cycle over again, because I think it's a lot of fun.
I would agree with that because it would allow us to have that whole experience over again, like Mange said, where it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of like shit talk. It's just great. It's a good atmosphere to have in a league like this. So yeah, I think shaking up divisions and keeping maybe, in my opinion, like maybe one team, one solid team in a division that like categorizes that division, like Team Rank 5 does. Or like Noob Central does, and then shaking the rest of them around would be a lot of fun and create that atmosphere again.
You know what I would like to see have happen, and this I'm pulling this out of my ass as so don't look at Cam fam. This just kind of came to me as we were talking about this. I would love to have the top finishing team for each division get to remain in the colors, right? So if NWA finishes on the top of the red, they're guaranteed to stay red. So you do that for every division. Then the other 12 teams are thrown into a pool, and we do like if you guys have ever watched EPL or you've ever watched the UEFA Championships and you've seen a lottery drawing for who goes where and who plays where. I would love for the THL to do a live drafting of the divisions as like a special
Ooh,
show in the off
that would be super
season.
cool.
Um, I would even be willing to in Jedi if you're still in chat. I'm putting my signature on the line here. I would even help to produce that because I think that would be cool, and then shake it up that way. Um, because a lot of these teams are not, if we were to go on, oh, let's balance it out based on finishes, yada yada yada. Teams aren't going to look the same next year. We've seen this. We've seen completely rebuilt teams from the ground up. So that's my vote. I think it would be cool. Thank you for the question to Trucci. Coming from Cheesy 10, what are your thoughts about the playoff structure with the top two teams from each division going through, rather than the winners of the divisions and the two wild cards from each conference? I really enjoyed the wild card thing um, last season because it was last season we did that, right? Yeah, because it was the
Yeah,
top
it
two
was.
plus wild cards. Um,
Yes.
it rewarded teams that felt like they were being gypped by the division they were playing in. Is how I'm gonna say this, but for instance, I'm trying to look at a team right now. For instance, if you look at Orange, they have three teams in there that are higher than the second place in green.
Yeah.
So whoever that third team is that gets left out might be like, well, motherfucker, looking over at Avatar, they only have, they have 5 points less than us. Whatever. It eliminates that argument. Um, however, you line up and you play the game. If you win and you lose, you can't worry about what the other team did or didn't do, even though that's why I bitch about every single week. But I've played sports long enough to know I was given my opportunity. Yes, it sucks that you might have to line up against people that are 200 pounds heavier than you, but you still got to fucking play the game and win. And if you don't, you really can't fault the other guy for their performance. So I personally like wild cards, but I don't mind this version either. Uh, you just got to do work in your division and
Yeah.
abuse. If your argument is we have more points than Avatar, well, you should have beat Avatar by even more points when you got to square off against them. These are not teams that you did not ever get the chance to play. You got to play everybody that you could bitch about. So
I
yeah,
think like what you just said definitely makes a lot of sense to me. I personally am a fan of the double wild card um, side of things. I think it worked out really well last season, but I definitely see what you're saying about you can't just say, okay, well, we have more points than this team, so we should be in playoffs over them. A lot of the time that is true, and a lot of the time that isn't true. It just depends on how the matches play out. But I think wild cards is better because it puts more of an incentive, I think, for the stacked divisions. Like if you're in third place in Orange and you're or fourth place in Orange and you have more points than Avatar does, or you have more points than like a second place from another division, and you just don't really have anything to play for anymore, right? Like if you're not in the point contention for playoffs, like there's nothing for you to play for. But if you have that wild card spot, you have something to play for and to strive for to try to get in, to try to get more points than like the second place from another division. So I think that creates even more competition and more layers of competition. So I think I like that system a little bit more.
I will say the one thing that two wild cards does is it makes the division imbalance matter a lot less. If you're not bracketing playoffs by division, said, or allowing anyone to go get it. At that point, everyone on each side is playing all the same competition, right? They have all common opponents. So the wild card makes it so that you don't feel screwed. Like, you're not feeling like, oh, that Avatar has that spot over us, even though we're, whatever, more points. I don't remember how he decided it. I just know that's how he decided it because it worked pretty well the first time we did it with this number of teams. I think that in the future, we'd probably give more wild cards, like more thought into that.
Mm.
That's personally what I would want. But
I do like the fact though that every season we think about it, we change it up, we try something, see what works, see what doesn't. Um, I like that every season we get a little bit of flavor to it, and the difference between try it out with wild cards, try it without wild cards. Uh, it's like when we thought, hey, let's see how Last Hero Standing is, and then we remembered that we all fucking hate it.
oh my god, I fucking hate Last Hero Standing so
Yeah,
fucking much.
as if we didn't learn that in season alpha or beta or whatever season we fucking did that shit.
Alpha.
Yeah.
Good.
So, thank you, Cheesy, for the question, and this one comes from Bitbreaker, or I believe
Beaker.
Bitbeaker. Uh, why do you think, or what do you think about the fact that Yogg has been changed again after BlizzCon decks have already been locked in? Um, Silence no longer stops spells, and Overload now activates. Personally, I hate this. I normally don't add questions around deck mechanics or card mechanics or rules in Hearthstone in general because I don't know a lot about it. But this reminds me of when they used to make balance changes in games like StarCraft before a big world event would come up. Like shield durations, so on and so forth, shit like that. They wouldn't make those patches live for the tournament. Um, it, and they would play on whatever patch it was when you qualified because I think it changes too much of the game. Um, and there's cards that you might omit based on those changes, uh, or classes that you wouldn't play that card in, or there's shit that you would change.
Yeah.
So that's my personal take on it. I really don't like it.
Yeah, this is a lot more common in other games in Hearthstone, just because Hearthstone has less balance changes overall. The changes aren't big enough for me to care about it in this scenario, but it's a really bad precedent.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really bad precedent because what if you want to make changes? Like the wholesale changes to cards. Would they then play on like a tournament server? Would they play on the live pack? It feels really weird to excuse me, I just coughed. It feels really weird to like have people submit these decks and then change the way the cards function.
Yeah.
Even if it's
Sorry, go for it.
no, I'm saying even if it's not a big deal. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think like you said, it's a really bad precedent to set by Blizzard, and I just think they should have thought it through a little bit more. Like they can take examples from all of these different games that have balance changes more frequently. Where if there's a major tournament coming up and they have already set lineups or set strategies or something like that, in this case it's set deck lists, and then they just change something without allowing the players to reconsider their deck lists or their strategies. That is extremely unfair to the player base that is attending that tournament, and it's also unfair to the watcher because if you have a player base that is frustrated with Blizzard or with whatever game that they're like the company that produces whatever the game they're playing for, you're going to have the fans be frustrated a lot of the time because the pro players in these games a lot of the time will speak directly to the fans about their frustrations and all of that. So I think Blizzard should either let them change their decks or not make the Yogg changes until after BlizzCon, especially with it being BlizzCon. Like, this is the biggest Hearthstone tournament of the year. It is very, very bad that they just said, okay, we're just not going to think about it. We're just going to make these changes. And no, you can't change your deck lists.
Well, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I was just saying, like, I think it's okay if you want to make changes to your cards before BlizzCon, but then let them play on a tournament server that has the old pack.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that would work too.
Yeah, I like the point about the precedent. And here's the other thing I'd like to, and Lemur, you just said this. We're not talking about like some random third-party, highly respected sponsor turn. We're talking about the pinnacle of Blizzard as far as tournaments and events go, the marquee tournament to play on.
Yep.
And you're making a big change. This isn't, summer prelims, which is still a big deal, but it's preliminaries. You know what I mean? This is the matchup or the tournament you're trying to get to, and to do it in something so big, it sets a stupid precedent.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be doing that kind of shit.
Like Mange said, though, like, this change in and of itself is not all that much of a big deal. I don't think we may see it in BlizzCon, but I think it'd be rare that we would see it than we wouldn't see it. But the precedent is the big point. If they are doing this now and they don't get backlash for it, they're going to continue to do it in the future, and I think that's really dangerous for the game.
And for those of you who have not seen it, 3 minutes ago, Cassie posted yet another announcement made about this tournament.
That shit pisses me off.
For the sake of time, I'm going to let this one play off in the threads. But guys, go to the THL Facebook page. Cassidy posted 3 minutes ago about next year's HCT. So, yep. Go read that. Discuss. Throw some comments in on that feed, because here and now I gotta take a wicked piss, and I'm not stepping away to come back to to end the show. So we're just gonna go ahead and do it. Lemur, I know I shit on you all night. I know I gave you a bunch of shit, but thanks for being here, especially as last minute as it was. Tell Aunt Julie thank you for the shout out on Discord beforehand.
Will do.
Would you like to share any parting thoughts with the folks at home before we part ways tonight?
Parting thought, definitely check out that Facebook post, because like Mange said, it's pretty bullshit. Other than that, I just thank you for having me on Tavern Talk. It was quite a fun time. Watch After the Salt Settles. I'm on there all the time. Good show.
Yeah, don't watch that show. Do watch our sister channel /NadeNC. Quality material over there. If you have not been tuning in there tonight, you should be. Mange, over there on your pile of potatoes, what parting thoughts do you have for the folks at home tonight?
I hope that we talk about this next week, the World Championship points.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Other than that, I'm not talking about chicken and gravy, biatch.
Biatch. I'll tell you what. You start the doc. Have that be first line. I'll put the blank doc in there, and then you throw it where you think it should go. Folks, Thank you for tuning in tonight. Even though Lemur was here, I hate to fucking say this. I wasn't going to say this, but I have to acknowledge it. We had our highest viewer total this season tonight.
There we go.
That fucking feels bad, man. You guys just said that Lemur being on Tavern Talk was more exciting than Slimsh's triumphant return to Tavern Talk. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. If you are just now catching up, please, when the VOD gets posted, go back and watch the first 2 minutes of this broadcast tonight. It was super important. Super important stuff. It needs to be known by every member of THL. Post on Cassie's thing. I don't think I have any other PSAs. You guys are awesome. We will be here same bat time, same bat channel next week. Until then, bye.
See you guys.
Fuck you, Lemur.